Hello, this is Dawn, and I'm going to be sharing with you some information about a toy adaptation. The toy that I chose is the Fisher-Price Laugh and Learn Learning Piggy Bank. I got this at Meijer's. It was on sale for $12.99, regularly $14.99. The age range for this toy is 6 months to 3 years. It makes noises, it sings, it talks, it counts as you put the coins in. It also can count in Spanish if you wanted to set that up so it would say it in Spanish and English. The interactive component for this toy is when the child drops the coins in, they put them in and then they have to open up the side of the piggy bank in order to get the coins out. This fabric piece is one of my adaptations. It doesn't normally come with that, so normally it's just this little indent here that the child would have to put their finger in to be able to pull it down. Normally it doesn't come with this fabric strap. The purpose of this toy is to improve motor skills, work on sequencing, like putting the coin in first and then opening the side in order to get it out, and also cause and effect. The child between the ages of like 6 months to a year will start learning that they are the ones making things happen. So if I put the coin in and then the pig responds and makes noise or sings, it's because they made that happen, or they dropped it in and then they see it down here. Also, object permanence is something that is appropriate for this age range. So learning that when they drop it into the piggy bank, it doesn't disappear forever, that they can get it from the side. This toy is age appropriate for children in the sensory motor period of development. So that's kind of saying that they're learning through their senses, through their motor or physical movements. So it's really important for children to be interacting with their environment, with their world. So this is a great toy for that because they are interacting with it and getting responses back from the pig. The population that I'm going to be talking about for this toy, the disability that I'm focusing on is cerebral palsy. CP impairments have a wide range in severity from mild to severe. It usually correlates with the degree of injury to the brain. Cerebral palsy also varies depending on the location affected and the type of cerebral palsy that the individual has. Since CP is kind of a group of conditions, the signs and symptoms vary from one person to another. Many of those signs and symptoms are not visible at birth, but they appear over the first 3 to 5 years of life as the brain and as the child develop. However, during this time, it's really important that parents are kind of aware of those developmental milestones, because an early sign of cerebral palsy is developmental delays. Delays in reaching those key growth milestones, such as rolling over, sitting, crawling, and walking, are all things that could be a concern. Practitioners will also look for signs such as abnormal muscle tone, unusual posture, and those infant reflexes we've been learning about, if those do not become integrated, if they're more persistent. There are 8 clinical signs of cerebral palsy. These include muscle tone, movement coordination and control, reflexes, posture, balance, gross motor function, fine motor function, and oral motor function. Children with cerebral palsy may experience impairment or delays with motor functioning, which is what I think this toy would focus on. And that would include gross motor functioning and fine motor functioning. So fine motor would be getting the toy, the coin, you could pick it up kind of in a gross motor sort of way, but it needs to be kind of fine motor to get it to drop into the pig. Also, I would say being able to open this normally would be a fine motor, and then scooping these out could be fine or gross motor. So depending on how the child would take it out of the pig. Adaptations for cerebral palsy. I researched and found that children with cerebral palsy may need more strength or coordination, like they're lacking in strength and coordination from other children that are typically developing. So they would be weaker in strength and with their coordination. So toys would need to be adapted to make those more accessible for those children. Modifications that I found that would be appropriate would be stabilizing the toy. In this case, I put Velcro on the bottom of the pig's feet. I have the rough side here and then the other part here. I did it this way so that I would make sure they lined up, so that when I peel all these off, I can stick it to the surface that I have. The next part is creating boundaries, and that's why I have it on this cookie sheet. That way, if the child is going to put it in and they stumble and it drops, the coins won't roll all over the place. There's this kind of natural boundary. Also, when they open it and are scooping the different pieces out, if they scoop it out and it kind of goes crazy, it's kind of confined within the boundary of the cookie sheet. Adding a grasping aid is also appropriate. So having this fabric piece on here will help a child who has cerebral palsy open it, so that they can either grab this whole thing or kind of put their fingers in the loop and pull, and it pops open a lot easier that way. Making the toys easier to manipulate. And what I did is I took some bathtub kind of non-slip stickers that you can put on there, and I cut those to the appropriate shape and put them on both sides of the coin, so that would help make it a little bit grippier for the child to kind of pick up and hold easier. You could also put it around the outside if you needed to. And also considering the positioning needs of the child. If a child would do better to have it on the table, that would be good. And then I have a kind of grippy shelf liner that the cookie sheet sits on, so that it holds the cookie sheet stable, and then the Velcro will hold the pig actually onto the cookie sheet, the Velcro pieces here. So we've got double stability there, but considering where the child would need their positioning to be, and then set the toy up appropriately for that. Also considering the appropriate ability, interest level, and safety for the child. So this would be something I would say that for an age range, 6 months would be good. Maybe a child who has cerebral palsy, it would be more appropriate because they may have developmental delays. It could be up to a year where they would still be trying to do some of those 6-month skills. So practicing that with this. Interest level, I think having something that kind of interacts with them is appropriate. And then safety, just making sure that there's not any like real sharp corners or edges or anything of that nature. So the different items that I used, I have my cost breakdown here. Total for this was $27.64. The time that it only took me about 20 minutes in the alterations, but I did have the glue for the fabric dry onto the pig overnight. And then those are my resources. I hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you so much.